is the Glass Cannon Network.
Hey all you hep cats and kittens, it's Haunted City on Glass Cannon Radio. My name's Jared Logan. I am the Game Master for this show where we play Blades in the Dark, the game from John Harper and Evil Hat. It's a swinging good time. With me as always are three people who know how to cut a rug. First, let me introduce my number one daddy, Ross Bryant.
Like, wow, baby, I love what you're putting down there. Ooh, yeah, you got a stack of black shellac ready to spin. Ooh, you're gone, daddy, real gone.
Speaking of gone, this daddy is out there like I'm talking orbiting Venus. Please welcome Abu Salim.
Hey, so.
And finally, she's the queen of my dreams. Josephine McAdam.
Yep, you got nothing from me. Hi.
Yeah.
Hi.
This intro feels, does it feel a little cringe or a lot cringe?
I think it's an intro for Ross who knows how to...
Hey, me too. I mean, I came in with the hey sup. I was just really cool and calm about it.
Yeah. You're really cool and calm.
Thanks.
I don't know how to be cool or calm.
I thought, it's not really about whether you know how to channel mid-century coffee shop poet.
Yeah,
lingo.
look, man, streaming is like jazz, baby. Sometimes it's the words you don't say. Ooh, out of sight.
There you go. Exactly. Well, anyway, welcome. And I'm so happy you're all here. And we're going to play some more Haunted City today. Things are really fucked up. I'm going to go ahead and say, are we allowed to say fucked up on the Glass Cannon Network? Am I allowed to say that the asshole of this show has just been blown out by some of the events that are happening in it? Is that okay to say? Josephine's looking at me like it's not okay to say.
It's okay. I say it's okay, and apparently that's fine. I'm in charge now. Just let...
Okay, you take charge.
Josephine is our standards and practices.
Josephine, could you please call corporate and ask them if I'm allowed to say our assholes have been blown out?
Blown out? Yeah.
Jesus wept, man.
Hey,
this is how we're starting the show.
Corporate?
I'm trying to find my comedy groove this morning, and it's taking me to some interesting places. None of them hilarious yet, but I'm trying to get there.
Hey,
okay?
Don't judge yourself too harshly.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you, Ross.
I thought Beatnik intro was great.
Thank you, Ross. I liked it too.
I liked it. I loved it.
All right,
I didn't have a problem with it either. I was vibing.
You're doing great.
Maybe it's just your insecurities coming out,
Yeah.
I am a good game master. And it's I like doing this, and it's fun, okay?
Yeah, man.
Corporate does say you're fired, though.
Oh no. Corporate being Joe O'Brien, but he puts on a different baseball hat.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to wear the blue Glass Cannon baseball hat today. It means I'm corporate. Okay. Let's stop judging ourselves. Let's just kind of try to have a conversation about what's going on in our lives. The fans, they really kind of want to know what's going on with me, let's see. Have I talked about I recently had a vasectomy?
I don't know that you did talk about that on air, but did you really, Jared?
Yeah, now people might say this is TMI, but I just want everybody that's watching this show about a steampunk heist crew to know that I can no longer sire children on anyone, including my wife.
Sire.
Wow.
I think sire children is a nice way to say it, Josephine.
Really? I think it's like the creepy, very creepy way to say it.
I think it's very Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Plug, plug, Game of Thrones, plug.
Yeah.
Okay, so sire children is creepy. I can no longer quicken the womb.
Oh my god.
Yes.
This is actually fantastic imagery.
Yeah.
And that's another way to talk in Game of Thrones, right? He's quickened her womb.
Yeah. Look, we've already talked about assholes being blown out. We can certainly talk about
Jesus.
making someone's womb teem with your air.
What with your bruh?
This entire intro is going to have to be re-recorded.
Yeah. We're definitely all quite fired. We must all go directly to jail.
Yeah. Joe O'Brien's going to be like, it was awkward, but it was also offensive. I don't know what to...
Go immediately to jail.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So I'm no longer in the baby business, everybody.
Wow,
Well,
man.
I mean, good.
Congratulations.
That's yeah.
Thanks. Abu, are you going to have another child?
Man, I'm having 10.
Really?
Yeah,
Whoa, really?
Absolutely. No, of course not. I'm going to have 10.
No,
I
but
have a
you want a
few.
big family?
Oh, yeah, man. I want an army. I want a legion.
An army.
A legion of mini-me's and, get them to do all sorts of stuff and they can fight each other like Succession. I want Succession's TV show to be based on my life. I want to be Brian Cox, but instead of him, whatever, I'm a good Brian Cox. You get me?
That's awesome.
No,
I can't wait to
instead I
see you
still
in
put them
your.
against each other.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the Legion.
I can't wait to see you as a stern, forbidding patriarch. This is
Come on,
good.
man.
Yeah.
Insane.
I can see the show. I can see Abu's kids all fighting over his video gaming empire.
That's the plan.
I think it could
That's
be.
exactly it.
I think it'd be cool.
That's the only reason why I'm doing this stuff is so then they can all be like, but I'm daddy's best kid. I'll be like, yeah, sure. And I'll go up to them. I'll be like, you're good, but are you better? And then they'll be like, oh no, I don't know. And then they can fight over each other, and then they can talk about their trauma to, therapists and stuff. And
Yeah, that's important with your kids to withhold a little bit of love.
that's what you got to do, man.
To make sure that they achieve. But I think it would be really funny, Abu, if they made a TV show like Succession out of your life with your children, but then you had to audition for it. I think that would be.
Oh, that
would. They're like, sorry, they're going another way, Abu. They're going
man, can
another
you
way
imagine?
with the Abu role.
But he has my name. It's my name.
All right. And how many children are you having, Josephine?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? Just at least one.
Some people think that that's a rude question to ask, but I think of it more of as an icebreaker.
Oh.
And how many children are you having? I'll say at a party when I've just met someone. Do you ever plan to have any? Do you know? Is that something that your aunt asks you sometimes?
Oh yeah, the family does ask for sure. But no, I mean, we want to have kids. I think that's part of the eventual move back to Europe plan.
Great. And I know that Ross is planning on just having some doggos.
Yeah, doggos only. I'm a real dog dad. Me and my fur babies are gonna be just fine over here.
Hey, this hubster is a dog dad, so give me my doggos, okay?
Yeah. No, I have my sister has a little girl, so the niece is currently taking all of that family pressure off of us for the moment. But
yeah.
who knows what the future will bring?
Yeah.
You know what's silly, and I keep thinking about it today. I was talking to Lottie about the changing of life of having a baby, and how it it changes your life, right? It's a life-changing thing.
Of course.
We're talking about how it's like incredible, but also it's life-changing. And I said, yeah, it's like a terminal illness. She kind of looked at me like, you just compared Sarah to the terminal. I was like, yes, I did. So,
You know, honey, having a baby is kind of like that flesh-eating bacteria.
you know. Anyway,
Well, anyway, 1,000 years ago, this was a land of beauty and magic. Then came the cataclysm that blotted out the sun and ripped open the gates to the land of the dead. The city of Doskvol is a metropolis of tenements and factories surrounded by crackling lightning barriers. Outside the city is a wasteland of the ravening undead. Inside the city is a teeming hive of scum and villainy, intrigue and corruption. Life is cheap in a city ruled by death. The sun is gone. The only thing that shines in Doskvol are the blades in the dark.
Yes.
Well, there was one part that kind of got caught in my mouth a little bit. Was it the only thing that shines? There was one part. I don't know. Anyway, we'll re-record that later. Moving on.
Yeah, along with the rest of the intro and
All right.
don't re-record my idea for the show about me and the kids, okay, guys?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and don't steal that idea because I'm the executive producer on it starting now.
Okay, great.
Okay, so here we are, and by way of a brief recap, our crew, the Remnant, boy, they've been through it, folks. So at the beginning of our season, they were in prison in Ironhook. They, of course, they consist of Josephine McAdam as Juliette Belrose, the leech and vengeful inventor. Valkos, played by Abu, the Severosi cutter, who has a penchant for letting spirits ride his body. And it was Celia Khan, but now it's Ekphelia, the vampire, who is a gestalt being created when the body of Akapragwodi was merged with Juliet's dead lover, Ophelia. So they were in prison. They got out. A lot of stuff happened, but long story short, it's time for Ekphelia, Juliet, and Valkos to end the little love triangle they've got going on. And to do that, they are all planning to destroy each other. Juliet and Valkos, they worry about the corruption, the evil brought forth when they created the Ekphelia vampiric being. And so they're looking for ways and have found some ways to perhaps destroy a vampire. Meanwhile, Ekphelia has the power to listen to their thoughts. And so Ekphelia has picked up on this plan and is making moves in order to, well, the plan is to take Juliet's spirit and put it into Valkos' body. And our friend Ekphelia has a countdown clock to get all of the pieces of their plan in place. And I got to tell you, it's got one segment left to fill. So we're very close to all of that happening. But in the meantime, they've taken a job. And the job that they've taken is that the Silvernails, a group of Severosi mercenaries operating in Doskvol, have recently been hired by someone to go and attack and clear out ghosts that are near a certain section of the lightning barriers outside of the city. This section, this area, is very close to the secret tunnel that Valkos helped to dig while he was in prison. The Path of Echoes, your patron, a kind of cult of high-ranking Doskvol personages who allow spirits to possess their bodies to give them wisdom, they told you to dig that ingress into the city, that tunnel, and now that tunnel might be discovered by whoever has sent the Silvernails to attack the ghosts out there. So, you got in touch with someone in the Ministry of Preservation who you'd met before on a previous score against the Leviathan Hunters, Lord Dalmore. And Lord Dalmore gave you an exit from the city because it's hard to just get in and out of the city without the papers you need and things like that to temporarily get outside the lightning barriers. So you know how to get out of the city, but before you left, Valkos had one more thing he wanted to do. And Valkos went to the Mustang, the inn that is run by the Silvernails. And I'll let Abu explain to us, what was Valkos exactly trying to do when he walked in there?
Look, I was trying to simply say that I was going to deliver to them a prized hunt in a way, or like a prized kill which is a spirit that is within a body. You know, we love killing ghosts and spirits and hunting them and being proud of ourselves, right? So I was saying, like, look, how about I give you something really, really cool if you just, peace out and leave, Path of Echoes alone. But obviously that got misconstrued because, my guy over here has got me fighting the whole pub of them. But
well, I remember what happened. So it did get a little misconstrued, and the reason is Valkos went in. He was intimidating his way up the chain of command, and I think he was talking to a Silvernail captain named Tuhan, and Tuhan was drinking with him. But then Valkos revealed that Valkos allows spirits to possess him.
I did not reveal that, man. I said, this is a great hunt. This guy, we hang out with this guy. He's stupid. He's nitty. He's the champion. I didn't say, let them ride me. Did I?
Who remembers Valkos revealing that bit of information to the Silvernails?
Bruh, did I? All right, go. Yeah, all right. Okay. Go on.
Does anybody else remember that? Because that's what I remember. Okay.
Can't wait till playback, man. Can't wait till playback.
Well,
do I need to put on the judge wig, the gavel, or get my lawyer
bring
attire?
in standards and practices in here.
I think that what happened was that Valkos began speaking of how he works with this ghost, this entity, this spirit, and that was misconstrued as works with, intimately allows to ride. I don't think he explicitly said that. I think it just got jumped to there.
Okay. Well, fair enough.
I also don't remember.
Well, I remember every detail. I'm the game master, and it would be impossible for me to forget one thing that has ever happened in this show. And I can tell you that regardless of the exact, the actual details aren't important. The point is that Valkos he's offended the Severosi here.
Okay.
They working with someone who allows their body to be possessed by spirits. And Valkos, you are a Severosi, so you had to have known getting into this kind of topic would be a very sensitive area. And so before you take a bunch of harm prior to a score, I'm just going to narrate what's about to happen to you. And I want you to tell me the action you use to get out of this. Because here's what I want to say. I think any attempt to use diplomacy with them and get them to do something for you, you're not there. It's not going to happen. Right now, you're just trying to get out. So, Tuhan and all of the Silvernails pull big, giant, jagged-looking Severosi knives. They start to kind of gather around you in a threatening way, and it looks like you've probably got to escape or fight your way out or something like that. Because right now, you hear someone say something like, he's here to trick us. He's trying to. Yeah. So they know that you're up to something. Is basically.
So I'm with Tuhan, right?
You are.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab him close to me and use him as a shield to get my way out of this place.
Okay, great.
Dope.
So that sounds like what kind of an action roll?
That is a, let me just look on my sheet. I think that's, because it is an ambush, I'm going to say it's a prowl.
A prowl.
With close violence, a backstab, throat cutting, blackjack, that kind of thing.
You know what? I'm going to allow it. You kind of it's the way you move around him and then suddenly are in position to grab him, right?
And I'm going to push myself.
Okay.
As well too.
Well, I'll say this. Tuhan is yes, you are pushing outside in free play outside of the score. Tuhan is a tier 3 character. So he is a badass. I mean, at least relative to you. So you must push in order to be able to get standard effect on this roll.
Yeah, I'm going to push. Okay, what's my position?
Your position is going to be, I'm going to call it desperate. You're surrounded by Silvernails, and you may have blown your score before the score even begins. So the consequence, if you fail this roll, is that you will go into the score with some harm.
Okay.
All right.
We'll make a devil's bargain.
Oh.
Yeah, you can make a devil's bargain.
Yeah.
Let me think if I have one. The devil's bargain will be that. I know what the devil's bargain is. If you agree that you lose face with all of the Severosi of the city, like all of the Severosi. Anytime you meet someone Severosi, they've heard of you and don't like you, then you can have an extra die right now.
Oh, no.
Just of the city, though, you know?
Nah, man. Allow that. That could, you don't know, man. Then every score we do, oh, there's a Severosi over there. Anyway, here we go, baby. It's the luck of the die.
All right, here we go.
You ready?
Yeah.
Oh! Never in my life with Abu's dice rolls.
That's impossible.
Have I seen
impossible.
1, 2,
That is
3.
impossible.
1, 2, 3.
So that is a 1, 2, and a 3 on that roll. So that means you do take harm. I think in this case, the harm will be called Sliced and Diced, a level 1 harm that will affect you in some physical and probably also some social actions. And basically what it means is they don't really stab you. They just kind of like cut you about the face and neck and on your arm to kind of make a point. They leave some nasty cuts on you, and then they kick you out into the street. You fall down into the mud. Your face is all like covered in mud, and maybe there's like some animal shit in the street, and your face just goes right into the animal shit.
Too far.
Okay.
It's okay. It's all good. It's all good, you know, because it's a game, you know, guys, and like games.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
This is why we play the game.
This is exactly why, you know, I spend my evenings just to be covered in shit.
Okay. All right. Now, okay. You know what? There's no animal shit. You get cut up, but then you land kind of cool in the middle of the street. And then everybody that threw you out of the bar is kind of like, is this guy awesome? But then they go back in the bar.
That's great.
Regardless,
I'm imagining like the way, you know, like how Zangief looks with all the like little scars and nicks all over him. It's like
Definitely.
For sure. Okay, so the harm is done.
The harm is done.
That approach to the silver nails did not work.
Didn't work.
But who knows? Who knows what will happen next?
Knows?
So let's go to the Sunken Grotto and let's decide how we are going to approach the score that we've chosen. So what we know, and what I want to go over the objective and kind of what you know so far as you make your plan, okay? So we know that the Silver Nails are searching around and attacking ghosts right outside of the lightning barrier in Dunslow near Iron Hook Prison, actually near the Big Dig. The pit in Dunslow is actually I have to get the mire, the mire, which is that big area where they are mining out ore that fell from perhaps a celestial body many, many thousands of years ago. So that is where Valkos dug his tunnel. That is what the Path of Echoes seeks to hide from the Silver Nails. And you also have a way out into the Deathlands. You have a member of the Ministry of Preservation, who will look the other way while you kind of get out there. I believe that you got some equipment for yourselves. I believe that you procured gas masks, which are usually necessary in the Deathlands because there are just big clouds of ash that blast through the landscape all the time, and it can be hard to see, it can be hard to breathe. So the objective is to somehow get the Silver Nails to stop looking or to never find the tunnel that leads into the mire, okay? So I want to know what kind of plan for this score you guys are going to go with. Is it going to be an assault? Is it going to be a deception? Is it going to be,
Did you say that we know a way to get out of the city? What was that again?
That's right. Lord Dalmore gave you a specific gate where he said he could arrange for the person on guard there to look the other way for you to get in and out.
Okay. Okay, so we have a specific gate to go out of, no problem. Okay.
So what are the options again? It's assault.
Yes,
Assault,
it's
deception, social,
yeah. Transport, make it happen, guys. Transport. There's occult.
Oh yeah, at the bottom.
And,
it's on our character sheets actually at the bottom.
Oh, is it?
And stealth. Stealth is another one.
Okay.
I think it should be a deception.
Okay.
Hear me out.
Okay.
What if, right, they're going to expect an assault because of this guy over here telling them, like, hey, we're going to come over and see you guys. But I think they're going to expect to be, to be met by something or someone or some form of adversity, right? They're not stupid. So actually, I think that they're going to be on guard, on tender hooks. I think, the deception act essentially is almost like an ambush in a weird way. I think we should bury them within the Deathlands. Like bury them alive, like, I don't know, set up some bombs or some shit around them and, I don't know,
So set a trap.
It's set a trap essentially.
Okay.
That's deceiving, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess like trying to get them to walk into a trap could be a deception or an assault, depending on how you read the letter of the law. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what GM. How does that work? If you want to, it's like an ambush. Technically, is it an assault or is that deception?
I think it could be either, just like our friend Ross just said. What I think that you could do to define which it is does your plan have a point of attack, which is the detail for an assault, or does it have a method of deception, which is the detail for deception?
So I guess if you focus on what inflicts the harm, our bombs, our spike pit, or whatever, maybe that's the assault. But if we focus on how we coax them into the place where it all goes off, like what is the
right? How are we getting them
there? Then that's the more deceptive.
Because the thing is that they're in tunnels, right? That's what we've conjured and created. So it's almost like, what if we shut them within these tunnels?
Are they in tunnels, or are they about to discover the tunnel that?
Yes.
I thought we were above.
So, but Valkos isn't wrong. There are tunnels there, and the tunnels are definitely part of the environment that you could use if you wished.
Sure.
But the Silvernails, as far as you know, have not yet discovered the tunnel. They are in that area of the Deathlands, and they are, they're getting close. That's why the Path of Echoes has sent you to stop them.
Okay, they're getting close, and they're attacking spirits just in the Deathlands, in that area. Yeah,
that's right. Yes.
And that's why I'm kind of thinking, like, if we got them within the tunnels, the way I'd see it is like, the way that the tunnels are built, like they're built on a straight, let's say they're built in a straight way, right? However, what we could do is we could block them in on one path and continue the tunnel somewhere else. So the idea is that it's just diverting them but burying them alive. So
that sounds like a point of attack, to be honest.
Okay.
Doesn't it? I mean, it's not really about how you're getting them there. It's like what you're doing to them.
Yeah, we're meeting them because they're going to wander. The presumption is that they're going to wander in anyway.
Right.
Okay. Or so we're either coaxing them into the tunnels that already exist and sort of trying to wall them off in a little niche in there, or excavating like a false tunnel that we then trap them in.
Can we do that in the confines of a score?
I don't see why. I don't see why not.
Okay.
We've had.
That's true.
Well, anything can happen in a flashback, and we've had scores that have lasted several days. I don't know how successful that was as a way of running a score, but certainly a score is not a compact amount of time necessarily.
Flashbacks. Can't forget
and
flashbacks.
I'd offer that just to kind of yes-and this idea, if we wanted to do something like that, the Path of Echoes are the ones who initially hired us for this, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So in theory, perhaps since they're in charge of the dig, perhaps we could get an asset we could acquire is some assistance building the trap site from agents of the other intermediaries from the Path of Echoes. Because we already know they've got 1 or 2 people in the prison.
Well, people are talking a lot, but I think it's starting to become planning. So why don't we just say, so we're focusing on attacking them more than we're focusing on fooling them. Does that seem right?
Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do assault.
And the point of attack is a false tunnel, or is it the real actual tunnel?
False tunnel.
A false tunnel. Okay, so the point of attack is a false tunnel. That is your detail. All right, I'm going to give you 1 die for your engagement roll to start. I'm going to give you 2 more dice. 1 die is because you kind of know the tunnel pretty well, thanks to Valkos, because you maybe have this backup with the Path of Echoes or people on the other side inside of Ironhook. Another die, because I think it's a pretty clever plan, but then I'm taking away a die because the Silvernails are a little bit more powerful than you, and you are operating in the Deathlands, a place that you are not used to operating in. So that's 2 for your engagement roll. Okay. Are you ready for me to roll it?
Yeah. Let her rip.
If I roll a 1, 2, 3, you're in a desperate position. If I roll a 4 or 5, you're in a risky position. If I roll a 6, you are in a controlled position. Here we go. I rolled a 2 and a 3.
Okay.
What's wrong with these rolls, man?
Remember to use your flashbacks. Remember to use your resistances. And let me ask you what your loadout is, each of you.
I'm going heavy.
Oh, heavy. Yeah, we're going.
This is an assault, so I think heavy is the way to go.
Heavy.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to tell you. You get out of the city through a small gate where there's only 1 Ministry of Preservation personnel member kind of present, and he looks right at you and then just looks away down the gateway like he never saw you, and you're out. You go down like several like kind of gated corrals, like with like high metal and stone walls, and then finally you come to like this big corroded gate that is like outside the lightning barrier, and you push it and it kind of comes down, and you are looking out at the Deathlands. What do you see? You see little pieces of old buildings, and so much time has passed now that they are really like ruins, likened unto if you were to go to Rome and look at what's left of the ancient Roman ruins, like little bits of doorway, little corners of houses, but just the corner is left. There are also trees, but the trees are stunted, gnarled and petrified, okay? Some of which have grown into each other in weird twisting formations. As you sit there staring at the Deathlands, you see on the horizon a huge cloud of brown dust, kind of a dust storm moving up along the horizon. You know that you must head northward to where you are supposed to have a false tunnel that has been dug for you. Mm-hmm. You head northward to where that false tunnel is supposed to have been dug, and it is not there. And the next thing that happens is you hear voices through your gas masks. You hear, hey! And they're speaking in Severosi. And just to make it extremely desperate, let's see how many of them there are. There are at least 9 or 10 of them. They are on big, strong cavalry horses. A lot of people in Doskvol don't have horses. These guys do. They are almost right on top of you. The only reason they haven't spotted you so far is because of the clouds of choking dust moving through this area, and you are standing where a hole should be, and there's just a solid wall of rock and mud.
Okay.
You need an action right now, or they're about to step on all three. Like the horse is literally about to step on you. Okay, so you need an action right now. All three of you can take an action. One of you can be the leader and take, the action where the others kind of piggyback on it. But you need an action. If you do not successfully get out of these guys' sight or do something to them right now, there's about to be a fight with 9 tier 3 silver nails on horseback.
Okay.
Have we ever started in Desperate?
I think maybe once.
Okay.
Do you still do you have any grenades?
I always have grenades.
Mm-hmm.
Great. I think we should lob them. They're on horse, right?
Well,
so it's gonna startle the horses. At least.
I have
Okay, go on.
I was going to just do a line of fire oil in front of us to erupt in flame to try and rear horses back.
Great.
That's my plan.
Okay. So we're creating a huge conflagration with your fire oil in order to scare the horses and get these guys away from you.
Yeah, basically I just want to do a line in front of us.
Okay, so instead of trying to avoid their notice, you have decided to try to stop the entire party of Silvernails from getting close to you, or you're trying to make them retreat. What are you trying to do?
This is just, for me, it's just sort of stopping the horses in their tracks momentarily. Okay,
so instead of avoiding notice, you want to just stop the Silvernails. Does everybody agree to this plan?
Oh man, whoa! I don't know. I thought everyone would do their own actions.
Well, that's fine too. Everybody can do their own actions if they'd like.
No, if it's that they don't see us at all right now, they're just running on us. Oh,
they are running right up on you, and the clouds of dust so far have hid your presence.
And we are where a tunnel that we expected to be here has not been dug out or excavated.
And otherwise, it's just barren out here. Like, is there theoretically?
I can explain a little bit more of the setting. So, where a tunnel should have been dug out, as our friend Ekphelia has successfully described, there's a slope of rock, scree, dirt that kind of leads kind of upward, and then it sort of levels off, after, I'd say a quarter of a mile to where you can see the actual lightning barrier walls, right?
Okay.
And then in the other direction, away from the city, yes, it is mostly flat.
Okay.
It is mostly choked with dust. You see the occasional gnarled, twisted tree or piece of ruined building.
Okay, well then instead, actually, if we're not seen, I would throw to the party, how about I drop a smoke bomb just to create more cover and we move to high ground.
Sounds good.
Okay.
So this is to obscure us and to kind of get us out of there.
Okay. So in this case, we are going to use a smoke bomb and get out of the way, right? Get the higher ground. So what action are we going to use to do that?
Is this a group action?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it is a group action.
Could it be based on,
The tough part to me seems getting out of the way, getting the higher ground, not you throwing a smoke bomb.
Right.
So I think that it should be something to do with that.
Yeah. I don't really have good movement stuff.
What's your prowl like?
0.
Well, maybe you're not the one to lead it.
Yeah, could you remind us how the group actions work? It's been a while.
Haha, of course I can, because I have it right. No, I don't.
I remember, I think we were doing something wrong.
I think we
also want to read it.
We all roll. One person is the leader, and if anyone else rolls badly, the leader of the action takes stress.
Yeah, but there was something. John Harper messed me out of season. There was something. I just haven't had time.
Well, what does that guy know about it? Listen, here's what it says in the book on page 134.
Okay.
When you lead a group action, you coordinate multiple members of the team to tackle a problem together. Describe how your character leads the team in a coordinated effort. Each PC who's involved makes an action roll using the same action, and the team counts the single best result out of all of you. Okay? However, the character leading the group action takes 1 stress for each PC that rolled a 1 to 3 as their best result.
Okay. We take the single best action. So yeah, it doesn't matter if I don't have any prowl. I have room to take like 5 stress before trauma.
I can lead. All right, fine. You lead then, dude.
Yeah, I can lead it. This is for a prowl.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Done.
in a second, I want you to describe how you lead it, but it's going to start with, if I'm not wrong, Juliet throwing down the smoke bomb, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And now the dust and smoke around you is even more opaque. You know, you guys see yourselves haloed with this like thick fog that is blasted out from Juliet's bomb. And how do you lead this group action to get to higher ground, Ekphelia?
Shall we roll first, and then we'll see how well the tactic is?
Yeah, I guess
fair.
I just want a little bit of a description, like before you do that.
I'm trying to move through smoke. We've already described this place as being lashed with miasmic vapors, so there's all kinds of smoke and dust in the air, and so I'm trying to move through. It's not rocket science. We're trying to use this smoke as cover. So, I am taking the lead and like walk in my footsteps. Maybe even like taking hands, like a link, the 3 of us linked. It's because maybe I can see through it a little bit better. The darkness, and the darkness is my element. And and so I'm if they just keep their eyes on the ground and step in my footprints, they'll avoid like jagged rocks and pitfalls along the way.
And did I hear you say we're using prowl?
That's correct.
Everyone roll prowl.
Is this desperate?
This is desperate. And it will be for standard effect.
I've got a 6.
Okay,
now keep in mind when you see this result that we're taking the lower of the 2 because I have 0 dice. Yeah.
Okay. So our leader failed. Our leech failed, but Valkos had those Valkos dice and rolled a 6.
Thank you.
So I take a stress for Juliet, but we still succeed.
You take a stress for Juliet, but we still succeed. That's right.
Because we use the 6 from Valkos.
We use the 6. That's right.
Yay!
Oh man.
And so the vampire, your extra senses sort of kick on through that gas mask. You can kind of see more clearly. You can feel life signatures and like heat and cold and shadow. And you grab each of them. You grab maybe one of them by the hand, maybe Juliet, and she grabs Valkos's hand.
Yeah.
Wow, it's the love triangle, hand to hand.
Yep.
And you climb up that hill, and you kind of get high enough that you are out of their immediate like eye line, right? And now you can see that they are kind of like moving and then sort of like looking around everywhere, and they appear to see something. They start pointing and muttering to each other in Severosi. And Valkos, you can hear that they say, "We've got one. All right, boys, you know what to do. Here we go." And suddenly the party of horses, of which there are 9, by the way, splits into 3 teams of 3, and they start galloping toward a point that's actually away from you, like in like a little ruined cluster of old buildings.
Okay. So we're having to like kind of rejigger this plane on the fly.
Of course.
The trap is not there, unless like flashbacks take place. But
you do know where. I will just add this detail. You do know where the actual tunnel is.
Yeah.
Right.
And
It is probably a quarter of a mile away as well.
Okay.
Okay.
So they've split into three teams of 3, and they said they've got one, and they've just split, right?
They're all kind of circling a point, to the east of you that it looks like it might, hide something, or there's something in it that they're interested in. You could guess maybe a spirit.
They're ghost hunting.
Let us take them one group at a time.
How about you take one group, I'll take another.
Ooh.
Very well.
Yes. 3 groups, one of each of us. I like it.
Great. That's the plan.
Of course. Well, so to be clear, it sounds like you are now each splitting up to run after these 3 teams of 3 horses.
I'm not.
Yes.
I'm reaching it. I'm reaching into my my heavy loadout. Let me see here. The vampire gets access to a lot of different stuff, like from a bunch of different playbooks, and I just want to see what I have here. Do I have a rifle?
I mean, that was
Yes, I do. I have access to a large weapon.
What?
In fact, I'm going
Nice.
to tick off the 2 jits, so I've ticked off 2 of my 6 for the loadout. And so just like out of the heavy load comes like a barrel and like assembling something. And we're on high ground now, right? So I'm going to sight down the barrel of this thing. It's like, yes, Valkos. I'm sure you can handily deal with some of your countrymen. And I'm going to draw a bead on someone in one of the groups that's bringing up the rear, and I'm going to start sniping.
Okay,
Yeah.
I love that. So we're gonna say that's what Ekphelia is doing. So
Okay.
just to set the scene very specifically, so that our everybody knows how they want to act and refine their actions. So the 3 teams of 3, they didn't go in all separate directions. All one went left, one went right.
Okay.
They're all kind of converging on the same point ahead, right? Like
Yeah.
encircling like this little cluster of buildings. So they are, in theory, within shouting distance of each other. They can wave at each other and coordinate their movements. All right.
That's fine.
So we can place our friend Ekphelia up on this kind of hillside, definitely within sniping distance of them. Juliet, what is your character doing?
Well, gosh, if they're not separated like that, then maybe we should move together, or we draw them apart by being in different places.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then yeah, you're firing from up here, so then I'll move sort of to another location to sort of try and draw them to split apart. I'm gonna move.
Right.
Well, let's say I go to the left.
Right. Okay. So you're going to attempt an action where you kind of get like the party of 3 that's the most left to follow you, right?
Yeah.
To
I'll
pull them
like
away.
fire something off or whatever. At the same
Okay.
time as the gunshot goes off. Right.
And Valkos, what are you going to do?
I'm going to run into the battleground.
You're just going straight in.
I'm going straight in.
punch a horse, baby.
I'm Larry
Fantastic.
Jenkins it. That's what I'm doing.
Teamwork. Let's all do a different mission.
Can I do a
Yes.
reminder? Is that I have ghost mind, which means I'm always aware of supernatural entities in my presence, just in case a ghost tries to shank me surprisingly, okay?
That is a really important, because what I'm going to say is, as you kind of start to, slide down that scree slope to where you can get into position to distract one section of that Silvernail company, you sense from the cluster of buildings, you have this sense of like, I don't know, it's what how your ghost sense goes off. It's like suddenly it feels like the ground falls out from beneath you just for a second. Like the inner ear balance kind of just goes wonky for a minute, and it's enough of like a jolt that you think whatever's in there might be pretty big. It's not your normal, oh, give me back my golden arm kind of ghost.
And it's like my heart stops for a second for anyone wearing those rings.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Clock
All
that.
right. So, Ecphelia cocks the rifle. Juliet moves into position to the north of the cluster of buildings in the Silvernail companies. Valkos, are you running right into the center of all of it?
I'm running right in. I've got my Spirit Bane charm on me though, so I'm running right in.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're all wearing those, right? We're all wearing.
Yes.
All right.
All right. Should we who should we narrate first?
Valkos.
Go for it.
Yeah. Maybe
Actually, as you do, what you end up seeing as I'm running down is my jacket just kind of rips off, and you see this huge battle axe just in the back of like the Severosi battle axe just coming out, which is my fine heavy weapon, which I'm going to tick off my 2 boxes for right now.
Are you shirtless?
Yep. Barbarian in the Deathlands, baby. That's what it is.
Yeah.
with a gas mask. Shirtless with a gas mask.
Shirtless gas
And a
mask with
fucking-
a
and a battle axe.
battle
Oh my
axe.
god.
Sick.
Very Mad Max suddenly.
Yeah. Lightning crackling.
Valkos, are you trying to avoid the notice of the other Silvernails? No.
Absolutely not.
Okay. So you hear some shouts like, "Who's that? Outsider! He's on your 6!" You know, and you run into that cluster of buildings. And the second you get in, you're close enough now that this wave of wrongness comes over you. And well, for Valkos, it's a little bit exciting, right? It's like when you get that feeling of like a ghostly presence, like it's almost like it kicks you into overdrive. Like suddenly your adrenaline kicks in and your heart starts beating really quickly. But the thing that you see suddenly in front of you is like an old well that used to be part of whatever this old complex is. And out of that old well, you start hearing, nah, 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 and there's some kind of like scrabbling sounds coming up from the well as well, like as of hands or claws kind of grasping at the sides of it. Meanwhile, Juliet.
Yeah, I'm shocked. That sounds creepy.
The trio of Silvernails that you were going to distract, they are being, motioned at by their companions and, being told basically about Valkos.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw a grenade.
Okay, and your goal is to get them to follow you. Is that right?
Yeah, the 3. I'm gonna throw the grenade just sort of towards that trio of 3. I mean, if I hit them, even better. But even if I don't,
I need to know your goal though. Are you trying to hurt them, or are you trying to pull them away? Are you attacking, or are you trying to pull them away?
I suppose hurting them would be better. Yeah.
We're just straight up attacking. Okay, so what action would you like to use?
Wreck?
Wreck? Okay,
Oh,
that
nice.
sounds perfect. Yeah, absolutely. All right, I'm going to have you go ahead and roll that action. It is going to be risky for... it's going to be for limited effect because they are tier 3. And it's going to be for a limited effect against one of them, right?
Grenades are tier 3.
Oh, your grenades are tier 3. Okay, so it'll be for standard effect, but it'll still be against one of them. If you wanted to affect all of them, you'd have to somehow get great effect. Do you want to push for that?
Can I trade and make it desperate?
You can trade and make it desperate. So the thing is, in order to time it just right, you have to hold the grenade until the last possible second.
Oh my god.
All right.
This might be silly.
Yeah, and let's make it super desperate. It'll be a level 3 harm if you fail.
Oh wait, I'll just get taken out?
That's not what a level 3 harm is.
It doesn't do that? Level 3? I thought level 3 took you out.
Let's make
Level 3, I think it's
sure,
level that
everybody.
you need help, whereas level 4, I think, takes you out.
Yeah, you need help. It doesn't take you out.
Okay, well, but still. Well, my rec's not that good. I take it back. This can just be standard effect.
Okay, standard effects. You're going to get one of them. All right, go for it.
Okay. And
The consequence if you fail will still be harm, but it won't be level 3 harm.
5.
How'd you do?
Success. With a
Success with a consequence. Okay, so success with a consequence. You throw the grenade. It explodes. One of them goes flying off of his horse. The other two rear up, trying to figure out where that grenade came from. And I'm going to say that the consequence is you suddenly the smoke clears, and they both immediately see who you are and where you're at.
Yeah.
And also the consequence is there's 2 consequences. Am I allowed to do that? The guy was thrown.
Thanks, Ross.
The guy was thrown from his horse, but he's not like dead, so he starts to get up as well.
Wait, but I succeeded at killing him.
At harming.
He took a harm. If he were a player, he'd take a harm, but he's not dead. Okay. So that's your role, and now let's go to Ekphelia. Ekphelia, what do you do? Who are you targeting?
I am going to target whoever's closest to me.
Okay, so the people that are closest to you are the trio of silver nails that Valkos basically ran right past. You know, who weren't like circling on either side of the buildings. They were just headed straight toward it. So they are the closest.
He lapped them going into the structure.
In. Exactly.
Okay.
So you want to target one of them?
Yes, in order to spread confusion and to keep them from kind of consolidating their power. Yes, I'll take a shot at one of them.
So here's what I'm going to do. I think that you have enough advantage being in a sniper position with a rifle that I would normally say it's standard effect already, not limited. But it's the Deathlands. There's constant smoke and ash pulling through. I think it's hard to target people from a distance in the Deathlands all the time. So right now you have limited effect.
Then I'm going to spend a stress to use my arcane sight, this thing that I normally deploy to sense people's feelings and almost hear their thoughts. But this also allows me to see in pitch darkness, sense the presence of invisible things, intuit the location of a hidden object, etc. And I think that etc. includes pierce the veil of Deathlands' miasmic atmosphere and really get a bead on this individual.
Are you trying to shoot one of them and kill them?
Yes, I am.
What action are you using?
Hunt.
We're going to find out how that hunt roll goes when we come back after this short break. We're back. The howling winds of the Deathlands carry a fine cloud of ash into the face of Ekphelia as they sight their rifle down the barrel at a silver nail, hundreds of yards away. But, Ekphelia, you're using your arcane sight, so I will say that mitigates the effect problem you were having where you'd only have limited effect. You now have standard effect. I'm going to call this controlled for standard effect, right?
Yeah.
So the only thing bad that will happen if you fail is that you'll need to take a different approach or try from a different angle or something like that.
All right. Yes, I sight down, and it's just like the arcane sight kicks in, and it's almost as if like a zoom effect, like as my eye moves out into the darkness, and I see my quarry, and I take the shot. And I roll a 4.
A 4, success with a consequence. Okay. Success means that you did in fact blast that guy off of his horse with a bullet. I don't know if it was to the head like you wanted it to be. I think he's laying there on the ground bleeding out. And I'll make the consequence the same as it was for Juliet. The other two Silvernails turn and immediately clock where you're at, and they start kicking their horses in your direction, galloping toward you.
They can immediately clock where I'm at?
Well, how would you change what I've just described?
I think I'm sorry. I don't know, not to nickel and dime, but I feel like
you feel free to nickel and dime.
If in order to sight down the barrel of a rifle, it took supernatural effort to pinpoint someone, and they can just whip around and be like, "It's right over there." Like okay. I think they know the general area, but they wouldn't know precisely where I am.
Okay. You know what? I will accept your description. The consequence
Thank you, Your Honor.
The consequence is that they are now looking for you. They are looking for you, but maybe they haven't quite found you yet. Okay?
Cool.
So that brings us back to Valkos. Valkos, you have, let's see. You still have 3 Silvernails coming toward you from
Perfect.
but the immediate concern might be the thing that's crawling its way up out of this well. Because what you suddenly see is the head of a sheep, and then the other head of a sheep, and then another, as a herd of sheep starts to push its way up out of this well. And then you realize that these sheep are not actually separate creatures, that they're all kind of sort of stuck together. And you see a human hand for a moment reach out from among these sheep, like it's being trampled by them, but it also seems to be part of the same entity. And I can tell you that there's something horrible happening, because certain spiritual entities, certain ghosts are so powerfully wrong. They warp reality around them so much that they can do damage just from you being in their vicinity. To your spirit, to your resolve, for example. And so what's happening right now is you're about to, Valkos, one of the toughest motherfuckers in Doskvol, is about to be afraid. He's about to fail his sanity roll. He's about to start screaming and running away. So I need to know what action you're going to do to handle this sort of spiritual awfulness that is bubbling up out of this well toward you.
So, I'm Severosi. I've handled these kind of things before. Would I have anything within my knowledgeable arsenal? Because these guys were about to run in there straight away with the sense of we're going to get this guy, we're going to get this thing. Would I probably have something within, would I, for example, doused myself in ectoplasm, or did something which I know would put me not necessarily at an advantage, but in a good enough space to handle these sort of ghostly entities?
Mm-hmm. You have definitely handled this kind of thing many times before in your life. If there's anybody ready to handle something like this, it's you. Right. So you tell me, if it's something you did beforehand to prepare, that's probably a flashback.
I think that's the thing. I think it's like a flashback. I've almost I don't know what it is. It's maybe it's either a vial or something which I've drank, or the reason why I am sort of shirtless and topless is because I've sort of doused myself in some form of ectoplasmic sort of resistance, or some form of which is temporary. And essentially the idea is that it's not necessarily a deterrent for spirits, but it's a way of, I guess they see us also as prey. So the way it's almost assimilating myself within the space and within the area.
Yes, I love that. So with a flashback, we can say that you prepared ahead of time. You went, say, maybe to the Path of Echoes, where there are a lot of spirits on hand, and they distilled ectoplasm for you out of this weird still. and the distilled ectoplasm fell into like this little dish, and you smeared it all over your body, and it basically makes you sort of invisible to spiritual entities to some extent. Like they can't really see you or target you or become aware of you. You clock as like another ghost to them because you're covered in ghost viscera. And so that flashback's going to cost you, well, normally that'd be like a 3 stress because it's like a special magical item. But before Josephine throws the book at me, you do have the Path of Echoes as an ally, and you are Severosi and know how to do these things. So I'm going to call it 1 stress.
Okay. So with that, then I am going to sort of. Now, it's with my knowledge, do I know that it makes me kind of invisible to them? So that means that I can get close to them and almost use them as a, in the way in which I see it is that I'm running past the Severosi towards the being to kind of walk with the being and attack with the being as well. So it's almost like I'm under the nose of the being and actually picking off my enemies at the same time. This entity is manifesting as like a flock of bloodied sheep. Would you like to get in amidst the flock? I think that's the case. That's the idea, is to almost charge within there and then use my sort of my senses to again, not necessarily assimilate myself with them. And also, the fact that I love riding and hanging out with ghosts and riding and doing whatever with them. But it's the idea is that I'm almost moving with them as I'm sort of coming towards the Severosi. So you kind of run directly inside the ghost. That is how stealth you are to the ghost right now. And now you are amidst this like flock of sheep, and you finally see where that human arm was coming from. There's a twisted spirit inside. It looks like of an unclothed man, and the hooves of the sheep keep smashing him in the face, and the sheep keep biting at his scalp, and he's like smiling at you. But you are moving with the flock of sheep, and so let us go back to, and you are moving with the flock of sheep toward the other Severosi. That's what you wanted to be doing, right? Yes.
Okay. So let's go back to Juliet. Juliet.
Okay.
Now, these guys definitely did see Juliet, right? We said that they saw her. And so they are now, currently they have like these big, nasty looking knives drawn, and they are galloping toward you as fast as they possibly can. And they will be on you in this turn, and they will be slashing you. There are 2 of them. What do you do?
At this point, also, I was just wondering, do we see the giant spirit thing that has come out?
No, it is still, it is not giant like Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. It's like, it's still inside that cluster of buildings. It's not larger than that.
Okay, it's within the cluster of buildings. Okay, got it. Let's see. The third one, it's just the 2 that are running towards you. The third one's been like knocked off his horse.
He's been knocked off his horse.
Okay.
Air, at least the air's knocked out of him. It looks like he's not dead, but it looks like he's kind of like on all fours, kind of catching his breath. They are not wearing gas masks. Railjacks and other people wear gas masks out in the Deathlands, but the goddamn Silvernails and other Severosi just learn how to breathe out here. Although they do, some of them wear like this weird little thing like that goes up into their nose and like around their face, like a still suit.
Okay, so I could do, the normal throwing bombs, whatever, throwing grenades, maybe the logical sort of safe answer. But I kind of want to try something fun. So I'm not always doing the same thing with my alchemicals. I want to take my drift oil and I want to spray it into them as they charge me. Well, not as they charge me, but before they reach me, ideally, which would, if it succeeds, coat them in the drift oil. And specifically, like, it gives them neutral buoyancy so that they start to drift.
Yeah, we've
away.
seen this before. We've seen you use this before. Okay, great. So let us. I really, sometimes when you guys try stuff like this on me, I really want to look up drift oil. Just because I don't.
Yeah,
trust
drift oil. Let me
you.
see. Let me see what tier it is too. It's a tier 3.
It's a tier 3. It's an. What is it?
And it lasts for an hour. It's under sample special formulas.
Special formulas. Okay. Creates neutral buoyancy when poured on an object, causing it to float in the air for an hour. All right, so you'd need a lot of drift oil for this to work on like 2 horses.
Do you want me to use up to
Yes, I
2
do.
slots worth?
Yes,
Okay.
I do. And I'm going to tell you that you still have limited effect on these guys, and because they are silver nails, they're a tier above you. But then I'm going to take it down one more to no effect that you have to mitigate. And the reason why is, drift oil, you pour it onto something directly, like a book on your desk, and then the book floats. Drift oil isn't normally meant to be weaponized, so, and you need to figure out how to get up to like standard effect somehow.
Well, can I bring you back up to limited because drift oil is tier 3, which matches them?
Yes, you may.
Okay. So there's that. And in order to get it to standard, what's our position on this already?
Your position on this will be desperate.
Although
Because
it's already desperate, yeah.
If you fail, they're going to slash you with knives.
Then let's push for effect.
Okay. Pushing for effect, you'll get standard. So desperate for standard effect. What action are you using?
I'm going to do tinker for this because it seems very specific to the materials I'm using.
Okay, give me those 2 stress on your stress bar and
Yep.
throw that drift oil, double fisted, splash.
Gosh.
How'd we do?
It's a success of the consequence. There's a success. There's a 4 in there.
A success.
It's not a
with-
great roll.
A success with a consequence.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what happens. You toss your drift oil canisters. They splash all over the horse's hooves. They splash all over the horse, and the horses start to lift up off the ground, and they can't quite get their footing, and they're kind of like spinning, in place. Like the drift oil can't quite lift them up all the way into the air, but they're sort of like spinning sideways in place, and they kick a drift oil canister back toward you that shatters open, splashing onto you. And now one of your legs really wants to stay aloft.
Oh dear.
Great.
So I want you to take a level 1 harm called floating leg.
Restless leg. Restless leg.
Actually, it shouldn't be a level 1
just-
harm.
It's just it only lasts an hour.
It only lasts an hour. Yeah, it shouldn't be a harm that you have to recover.
Yeah, and I can get rid of it, but
No, I don't want you to have to recover it. Let's just say, for the rest of the battle at least, this
until
is
I
an
do
issue.
something about it.
Yeah, this is an issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've got a floaty leg.
You've got a floaty leg. Okay. So that is you, and then we turn to Ekphelia. Ekphelia, I'm gonna roll to see how well they're doing at finding you.
Great.
There are 2 of them left, but they are tier 3. I'm going to give them 3 dice. This is what they do. They scout in the Deathlands,
Mm-hmm.
And they rolled a 4, a 5, and a 5. And what I'm going to say is they definitely spot you this turn, but it takes long enough that you can do one thing.
Okay, great. I'm going to take another shot, of course, at them.
Okay.
At one of the ones that's still aloft.
You mean a
Or
horse?
not, aloft is now a loaded term. Yes. One of the ones that's still on horseback. One of the
Okay,
2
great.
remaining ones I haven't yet blastified.
All right.
So yeah, let's just do another hunt shot. But have they drawn closer to me?
They are like kind of below you, directly below you, and they're gonna see you this turn no matter what you do. But you have time to take one of them out.
Great, I'm going to do it. Was this standard effect because they're closer to me?
Yeah, I'll allow it to be standard effect. Yes.
Okay, here we go. 4 again.
4, success with a consequence. Okay, so the consequence is that after blasting this guy, these are Doskvol rifles. They're not like our world 2023 modern rifles. So I think that your rifle jams, and you'll need to maybe, just suggesting an action, tinker with it or something to get it to fire again. But you do blast this guy before that happens. Bang! And he goes falling off his horse. And now the one guy that's left looks up and sees you. And instead of seeing fear or confusion, you see a hunter eyeing its prey as he spurs his horse up the slope toward you. Meanwhile, back in the cluster of buildings, Valkos, you're crawling along with this dead, decomposed corpse crawling beside you, muttering and laughing. All around you are these bleeding sheep that are actually some sort of spiritual manifestation, and they are about to burst out of the cluster of buildings to where the silver nails are waiting for them. Do you just continue to go with the flow?
So I've noticed that the silver nails haven't come in, right?
No, they're kind of reaching the entrance at the exact time that this ghost is bursting forth.
So I'm going to do another flashback.
Okay,
I'm
great.
going to say, maybe that I spoke to Juliet, and within my arsenal, maybe got a smoke bomb that I've gained, and the idea is that with that smoke bomb, I'm gonna throw it out, so then it confuses them. But obviously, because the spiritual entity as itself doesn't necessarily hunt with eyes, it hunts with its soul, its being. I will follow and move with them and pick them out one by one through the smoke bomb. Now, this smoke bomb, can I maybe like alter it a bit and say it's not, because I know that the Severosi do not need gas masks. We have them specifically for the Deathlands and all toxic fumes. So there's something about this bomb maybe that makes them cough or splutter.
Well, let me tell you, they already do. They make it difficult to breathe, and they sting the eyes.
So I think it's adding that effect as well to them.
All right, so I just want to see the scene where Juliet handed you the smoke bomb.
Okay, so I come in all sliced and diced. Like, it seemed that, no, I know, I tried to, look, I'm trying this thing where, I try and talk my way out of problems.
Oh,
but
Valkos.
I know it's not a very good idea, but listen, there's something that we need to prepare for with our people when facing them out there in the Deathlands. You see, the Severosi, it's not about physical strength that makes us potent when it comes to fighting spirits. It's the mind. And that is a mixture of breathing, a sense of, not confidence, but no fear when it comes to the eyes of death. However, when we begin altering that breathing, that technique, it'll all come crashing like waves onto a beach. So, when we're out there, if we do engage them and say the plan doesn't go to what it needs to, what needs to happen, don't fight them straight on. Fight their mind. Which is why I was wondering if maybe you had something that would alter their breathing, or something that would just get them second guessing on their movements, say, be it.
I open up my trench coat
And I say, would you like a smoke bomb, or perhaps would you be interested in some drown powder?
I would actually like what's in between, but of course, I'll take the smoke bomb.
Oh, that's cute.
Aw.
Aw. Can I make a suggestion as the GM?
Go on.
I think, Juliet, that you guys, through this interaction, through that excellent description, Valkos, of how the Severosi method works with the breathing, you think that a normal smoke bomb might not throw them off because they breathe through ash all the time. But if there was something really distracting or different about the smoke bomb, it would throw off their like concentration technique. And so, Juliet, maybe you know how to make a bomb that smells really weird? Or does some other kind of different thing smell? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I say like, I think like it needs to be specifically, the smell needs to be something of
like
of
I
beauty.
mix the skull fire within it because that's what it creates toxic fumes that causes incapacitating migraines. So maybe we mix some of that skull fire with the
It feels like you're like a
bomb.
kid making a suicide, you know what I mean? Where you put the Sprite and the Coke and the grape soda
Which
all
is
together.
good because skull fire is tier 3, whereas smoke bombs are only at 2. So
Right,
maybe the
well, there you
skull
go.
fire would.
Valkos, take 1 stress and you have this bomb.
Brilliant. I'm going to use my finesse to toss it out
very
the door,
good.
just as we are coming out of the en masse, as the sheep's.
Now it is
Throw
tier
mass.
it is a tier 3 bomb, but as there is a lot going on, including, you trying to move and stay hidden within a flock of ghosts, and and you're trying to get 3 guys at once. I'm going to say that right now it is limited effect.
Okay, could I change it that I'm not necessarily being hidden? I think they can see me within.
Oh,
they
you're
can see me within the
jumping
ghost.
out now. You're like jumping out and
Yeah.
throwing this. Okay, no
Yeah.
problem. I'm going to say standard effect, meaning you will definitely get 1 guy. If you get a crit, you'll get all 3.
Okay. Okay.
Time for
Would
those
you like to-
dice.
You could push for great effect and then you get all 3.
Yeah, I'm gonna push for great effect.
Okay, take 2 stress.
Don't you have an ability that could also just where you could take stress for it?
Well, technically, yeah, it's not to be trifled with, and it puts me on equal footing with a small gang.
But
So-
it does not allow you to finesse little bombs that
Right,
way.
right, right.
No.
It's like a brutal
It's
fighting
for
thing.
skirmishing, yeah.
So
Yeah.
there we go. So I'm just gonna go for great effect there, and then here we go. I got a 6.
That's
Yeah.
a 6.
Of course you did. I think you're rolling the only 6s we have.
The rest of us are scraping by.
You toss. You actually roll it really kind of specifically to one point that you're aiming for. You jump up out of this flock of horrifying ghosts. Their eyes go wide. They didn't expect to see a living human just in among the ghosts. You toss the bomb. It lands right at the hoof of the center horse. Bang! It goes off. Because it has the skull fire poison in it, it's like a red mist that blasts out. It becomes like a red confetti, and it's going into their noses and mouths, and they're going, ah! And they're pulling out their breather tubes, and their horses are rearing back, and they are completely thrown into chaos. Long enough for you to take another action when we come back to you in a moment. But right now, we are talking to, I think it's back to Juliet again? That makes sense, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So Juliet,
These guys are floating now, though, yeah?
their horses are floating. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. I'm gonna roll fortune and see if you get like a high roll here. That was a tier 3 bomb, right?
Yes, the oil is
drift oil. Yeah.
tier 3.
So I'm gonna go ahead and roll 3 dice, and if you get some really high roll, then you got all of them and they're all floating. If you get like a lower roll, then you just got the horses. And I'm rolling a 1, a 2, and a 4. I think that there's still a guy who manages.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a guy. He manages to like unhook himself from his saddle, and then he falls like thunk onto the ground, but he's up again right away.
Okay.
And he begins running toward you.
Of course he does. Okay, then... yeah, time for the second bandolier.
Oh, baby.
Well, let's just throw some old... Let's just throw some old fire oil on him.
This is just a big old damn fight out in the middle of the Deathlands is what this is.
Yeah, I mean, as
It's
it
a
should
war,
be,
man.
right?
Yeah. Okay. You're gonna throw some fire oil on him.
Fire oil. Well, let me check the tier on that. Yes, yeah, fire oil. Tier 3.
Okay, it's tier 3. So we'll say that mitigates his higher tier than you. Let's call this risky for standard effect. If you succeed, he will catch on fire. If you
Can I do
fail,
skirmish here? Since we're kind of...
yeah, you could do skirmish. I'll allow skirmish. So
I hear you've been training in that.
the consequence, if you fail, is that you will be in melee with him in such a way that it will be impossible to pull bombs anymore. It'll be like
yeah,
it'll be
I won't have
you'll be
my-
in
yeah.
full knife fight situation.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Here we go.
Risky, standard, and... Hey, a 6, baby!
A 6. Ah! The guy is like fully on fire now, like running around. It's like an action movie from the 70s where they got these stunt guys to do that kind of thing. And of course, there's not a lot of water out here in the Deathlands, so who knows what's going to happen to this poor soul. But he's in a bad way. And Juliet, there's only really like the other guy is like floating up with his
I'm
horse,
not
like unable to get his
dealing
feet
with
on the
that.
ground. But there's a guy that you knocked off earlier, and it looks like he's getting to his feet. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Can
So-
in this time, like while he's getting his feet, can I just pour some alkahest on my leg?
oh yeah.
It'll use up a slot, and I'm running out of alchemicals almost
Yeah,
completely.
you can use this time while he's getting to his feet to pour alkahest on your leg and stop it from floating anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Let's go back to Ekphelia. Ekphelia, this guy is coming up the slope toward you, and he is actually drawing a firearm as well. This one being a handgun of some sort, and is kind of trying to pull up beside you on the horse and fire on you execution style.
Okay. I would like to jump from this high point and come down on this person with all my weight and unhorse him.
Okay, great. You can attempt that. So you're jumping to unhorse. Okay, and you're from a high point. Let's call that risky
Okay.
for standard effect.
Okay.
You will have unhorsed him. You will not have taken him out of the fight, but you will have unhorsed him if you succeed.
I'm looking at the letter of prowl is prowl about unseen, traverse obstacles, climb, swim, run, jump, ambush with close violence, which I think prowl is what I'm going to go for. But
Yeah.
I also have this terrible power trait. So I think this jump is not a regular roll. I'm just like humping it up over the lip. This is like of the high point. This is like Matrix style. I like boom, like go up, cloak fluttering around me and almost out of sight to an insane height. And I'm just coming down like a lance out of the sky to crash into this person.
Okay.
So that
Understood.
will increase the effect.
Okay, yes, it will. Great effect. That will take him out of the fight. But if you fail, I'm just going to say that you are going to be put in a worse position if you fail. Meaning, like, you'll be on the ground and he'll be above you with the gun, right?
Okay.
If you fail.
All right. So I've taken the stress to trigger the power. Going to great effect. Here we go. It's a failure.
Three,
2.
and a 2.
Nice.
So what happens is you jump up into the air, and he's a quick draw. This guy's a gunslinger, and as you were coming down, he's firing upward. Now he doesn't hit you, but it causes you to kind of shift your weight at the last second and smash. You hit the side of that hill, and you kind of slide down it, and you're kind of on your face and hands, like with like bits of rock, like inside your gas mask with you. Okay. Like your hands are a little bloodied, your chest is a little bloodied, and your clothes have been ripped. And now he's still on his horse, and he is aiming at you, and he's about to pull the trigger. We're gonna come back to you. We're gonna go back to Valkos. Valkos, you have these guys kind of on the ropes for a moment. They're in complete chaos, trying to get their breathing back, trying to do something. The ghost around you is now starting to reach for them. Like, even though the corpse inside the flock of sheep seems to be just one man, all of a sudden a lot of different human hands are reaching out from among the sheep to grab the legs and the hooves of the horses and pull these silver nails down into the flock. What are you going to do?
I'm going to go for the horse which has the least attention, or the rider for the least attention. Pick them off and take the horse to go back to my friends. I'm going to let the ghost handle these three. Okay.
Great. So all you want to do is pull off the rider and hop on. Is that right?
Basically, yeah. It's like in a movement of this disarray and this discombobulation, just kind of go on the horse and like kick the rider off, go on the horse and go in the direction with because I'm a focus. I'll be able to focus the horse to the direction of where I want to go to.
Controlled for standard effect.
And I think I'm going to be using. Probably it will be prowl because it's traversing objects.
Okay. If you fail, it just means that you haven't managed to get on the guy's horse. He fought you off, and you'll have to try something else.
Sure.
You fail. What? You fail.
Turning.
And so,
oh no!
What basically happens is that this ectoplasmic entity gets in your way. Like, you were trying to grab the guy who the ghosts didn't have a hold of yet, and they've got a hold of everyone now.
Okay.
And including you, but it is incidental, right? Like, they're not trying to grasp for you because you're covered in your camouflage, but like just because they're grabbing the same guy you're grabbing, like you're all tangled up with them right now.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's go back to Juliet. Juliet, this guy gets to his feet while you're pouring alkahest on your leg. He sees you. He pulls like a hatchet off of his belt and is running toward you, screaming in Severosi, about to bring the hatchet down on your head. What do you do?
I'm pulling out a blade of my own.
Yeah, here we go.
I'm going to... What would I have? Ooh. I'm just reading the description under this like item in here, and at the last one is a heavy butcher's cleaver.
Brilliant.
Great.
I'm going to pull out a heavy butcher's cleaver, and I want to try and catch him before he catches me.
Axe fight!
Amazing.
I skirmish this up.
You can, but it's going to be desperate, meaning someone's going to take a harm here. Desperate for, I think this is so cool, desperate for great effect. If you succeed, you're going to take him out of the fight, because it's axes. There's not a lot of nuance to that weapon. You know, if you hit, you really hit.
Okay, Sorry. All right, here we go. Yes, it's a 6!
I'm so proud. So proud.
Amazing.
You know, Juliet,
Did you give me your dice?
I have to tell you, Juliet, your axe actually doesn't manage to hit the other axe. Instead, it hits the wrist of the guy's hand that's holding the axe and lops it right off. His hand goes flying, blood squirts out onto the dusty landscape. There are just like wet black spots where his life force is bleeding out into the dust, and he falls to his knees screaming and sobbing.
Stay
Violence! Ultra violence!
Yeah!
Okay, nice work, Juliet, and that means that all 3 of the guys that were on you have been neutralized. Now we go to our friend Ekphelia. Ekphelia, what's happening now is that this man is firing on you at fairly close range.
Cool.
Yeah. What do you do?
But I can, of course, do something.
Of course. That's why I'm saying, what do you do? What's your action?
Great. You sort of narrated it where I like fell down and I'm now kind of like face down on the ground.
That's right.
And this gun is being cocked right behind me, about to put a bullet into my back.
Yep.
Oh, God.
Probably your head. These guys don't fuck around.
Yeah. I'm gonna tick off on my loadout throwing knives.
Yeah.
I'm down like, oh God, I'm so feeble. What a terrible injury. My leg's probably already broken. This is a mercy killing, if anything, is how my body is twitching and writhing on the ground. But that's just me charging up like a coiled spring as I whip around to try to beat his trigger with this blade that I'm gonna throw right in his eye.
Okay, so it's knife versus bullet, and it's high stakes. It's going to be desperate, and it's going to be for, let's call this for great effect. This is a duel.
Yes.
All right.
Oh my
now,
God.
here's the thing. I really want to make things interesting. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I think that this should be for the harm you're going to take if you fail is a bullet to the head, right?
If you say so.
Okay, and a bullet to the head seems like a level 3 harm to me.
It does.
Okay, so if you fail, you're going to take a level 3 harm. If you succeed, you're going to take this guy out of the score. He's done.
But I've looked it up. A level 3 harm does mean I can't do anything unless helped or I like push myself. But
right, and as a vampire, you're the only member of the Remnant who could push yourself after being shot in the head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, the armor comes into effect also when you take these sorts of harms.
Absolutely. Yes.
But and we are wearing things on our heads, these masks, and which may include helmets. But
you have a lot of options.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there. I want to say I want to employ this. You're saying it has great effect?
It will have great effect.
I'm going to push myself, of course.
Okay, great.
Can I have this be a finesse roll since I'm trying to whip around?
Yeah, I'm just remembering though this guy is tier 3, so it's probably going to be standard effect.
In that case, I will also use my terrible power to bump the effect up.
Okay, great. What do you have to spend stress for terrible power?
Each time.
Okay,
One
great.
stress per use.
Okay, now we are at desperate for great effect.
Desperate
Roll.
for great. Wait, and I'm pushing myself. That's another 2 stress, right? Or 1 stress?
That's another 2 stress.
Okay, stress is pouring like water through my hands. I'm at great, but I get the extra die. And if I don't, I get shot in the dang head. Here we go.
Success with a consequence.
That's a 5, folks.
But success,
That's
you know.
the highest of
Success.
4 dice.
With a consequence. Instead of a level 3 harm, please take a level 1 harm called Flesh Wound, as his bullet goes wide and just kind of scrapes against your side, and you put the knife right into his eye, chunk, and deep into the cavity of his skull, right into his brain. And he sort of like shudders and convulses for a moment, and then flops to the ground in the gravel.
Excellent. Yeah, but the gun, like goes off and strikes me as this like whip of a hand goes around with like insane speed and like puts this blade right in his eye socket. But also, I will tick off 1 armor So that
No
reduces
harm.
my level 1 harm to no harm.
Nothing.
Oh.
Very well done. Very
That's
well
how it
done.
works?
Mm-hmm. When you tick off one of the armor chits,
Yeah.
it reduces the harm by a level.
Oh, fantastic to know.
And that, I think, is all the loadout I've got. So I can't add anything else.
Oh, hey, I'm so proud. I finally made someone use all of their loadout. That's awesome.
Wow.
Jesus.
Okay. Well, you chose to, really. I didn't make
Oh, wait,
you
I've
do
got
anything.
one more.
Okay.
One more thing.
I just like that all of the equipment's getting used. Okay. So, hey, man. I never would have thought this was true, but the rest of the Remnant have taken out their guys. The only one who's not is Valkos. So Valkos, you're not in a desperate position yet. You're just like really tangled up with this like harness, this guy on a horse, and this ghost that's trying to like pull him in. So I guess what's the problem you're about to have happen is that fighting is going to start going on between this ghost and this guy. Well, all three of these guys, they've kind of recovered from your fire poison kind of bomb, yeah. So they're all going to start fighting with the ghost, which means they're going to potentially catch you in the crossfire.
Yeah, I'm still gonna try and get out of this mess.
How are you going to get out? What action
Horse.
are you
I'm
going to
gonna
use?
take the horse. I'm gonna keep fighting. So with this, I think it's another aim of, again, sort of, I think it's gonna be a skirmish this time. So the guy who's on the horse, and I wasn't able to untangle, I'm gonna use my axe to essentially just whip off and just cut him off and just go on the horse and get out of there.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to rule.
Yep.
If you fail, your ability to get on the horse and ride off is gone. If you
Okay.
fail, like it's going to be a fight between you, the ghost, and the guys, right?
Okay.
That's the position you'll be in, all right? So it's a skirmish. I think that this is going to be risky for standard effect. You will get on the horse if you do this.
6.
Yes.
There it is, a 6. So you were kind of trying to just push the guy off and climb up, and then you're like, the hell with this. You pull your axe and you just like smack, like chop his side. And he goes, ah, and falls off. And you hop on, and the ghost is like kind of like ripping at the horse's flanks. Not in a violent way, because we'd never do anything nasty to a horse, except make one float. So, but the ghost is like trying to grab it, but Valkos, yeah, you kind of head out, and now all of those guys are tangled up with this ghost, and they're out fighting this strange entity, and they have lost you, Valkos. You are able to now drive your horse back toward your friends. There are no immediate combatants. What would you guys like to do?
Yeah, question. Our objective, was it to not have them discover the tunnel, or was it to stop them from attacking spirits?
I think it was to neutralize them entirely. I feel like
Okay.
Get rid of the problem.
And how many?
Get rid of the problem. Is the
How many are left in with the sheep spirit?
3.
Oh, only 3? Okay.
So I'm going to ride back to my friends and essentially say, I throw 3. I look at the massacre that they have all left, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, who am I? But you just see me sort of indicate to you guys that there are 3 still going on my side as I ride back to you. And then I'm gonna turn around and sort of just watch and see what this ghost, who wins between the ghosts and the Severosi, and I'm gonna like a vulture and sort of pick off whatever's left off.
As you ride by me, though, I'm gonna put my arm up as if to be like, bring me up on this horse. Yeah.
And I'm gonna do that. Yeah.
And the horse is going to go up on its hind legs like Hi-Ho Silver. And
the bolt of lightning crashes behind you at that very moment.
Well, yeah, I think that the little bit of slivers of sun that are left, because there are shards of sun that glow weekly during the day in this empire. It shines behind you as you rear up on the horse. And the only thing I'll say before I make the fortune roll to see how the ghost is doing versus the Severosi is that you now, Juliet, your ghost mind is picking up more blips, as if more more things are sort of being drawn to this entire conflict. And you can kind of see out of various other ruins and trees, dark bodies slinking forth.
Okay, and I'm going to sort of convey that. I guess I'll shout to Ekphilia since I'm next to Valkyrie. There are more coming!
Okay.
Let me see. Here we go. So this is the roll. I'm going to make fortune rolls. I'm going to make a fortune roll for both the ghost and the Severosi. Here's the one for the ghost. Its high roll was a 5. Here's the fortune roll for the Severosi. The Severosi rolled a 6.
Oh no, this
So
is
as you're watching, Valkos, you watch as your countrymen, they get a hold of themselves, right? Like even without a horse, like they quickly work as a team, deploy this kind of like net between them and start to get it around this weird entity. And now they're pulling the net tight and the amount of sheep is kind of decreasing and it's sort of like merging with the guy as they sort of like pull the net tighter around this ghost. They seem to have it trapped. Meanwhile, Juliet, you can see like walking toward your horse like a humanoid figure, but with like a chicken's head.
Oh, no.
And it's sort of like eyeing you with like its weird bird walleye as it sort of heads toward you, and then blood.
Wow, the podcast is never going to get the head gesticulations that Jared is doing while he says this. It's fantastic.
Frighteningly accurate chicken pantomime.
Yeah, really on point.
Let me just say, Jared Logan was raised in West Virginia. His pap owned a farm, and I had many opportunities to view chickens close up and realize that they are terrifying nightmare fodder, perfectly appropriate for a Doskvol ghost. And so this weird chicken-headed entity is moving toward you. You can see other entities sort of moving through the dust. You can't quite see what they are yet. What do you guys want to do? I'm going to rule that, Ekphilia, you're still a little ways away. You're within shouting distance. The other two, you can talk perfectly fine with each other. What do you guys want to do?
So, what attracts ghosts? I should know this, right? What's a bait for ghosts?
I was thinking this too, yeah. Ghost attractor.
Would I say, would it be not necessarily ectoplasm? Would it might be like, I don't know, human blood or something? I don't know.
Yeah, definitely like outpourings of emotion tend to attract them, which is like another way that the Severosi, you would know this, the Severosi, like, they try to remain so calm that they're not actually acting like a beacon for ghosts to go after, right? That's like part of the technique in all that breathing as well, is to not get emotional, because when you get emotional around ghosts, not only are they attracted to you, they tend to get more unpredictable.
So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn to Juliet and be like, do you trust me?
I trust you.
I need you to think of a time where you felt the most vulnerable, most desperate. That moment you saw Ophelia slip away from you. I want you to feel that, harbor that, place that within you. Let that be your beacon. Feel it and tell me. And I kind of, can I see that in her eyes that it's triggering? Can I see the ghosts as well kind of reacting to that?
Well, Juliet, are you doing that?
Yeah, and you can feel her heart start to race as you're describing it, and her eyes like well up with tears.
She loved you.
Even the spirit of Ophelia is like looking, of like feeling like lifted and drawn towards this emotion as it's.
She loved you. She cared for you. And you hear me just hit this horse, and I'm just running towards the Severosi, drawing all of these ghosts towards.
I'm just crying behind.
Yeah, and these ghosts, like, immediately, like, the spike of emotion is so strong that these ghosts, I think what I want is an action roll, and I think you know what action it probably needs to be. And I think that either Juliet or Valkos can make the roll.
Whoa.
Wait, what does it have to be?
What role would it be?
well, you're dealing with ghosts.
Oh,
So it'd have to be a tune, right?
That's
It doesn't
not
have
me.
to be. You can use any action for any role in
So
Blades
I'm
in the
gonna
Dark.
I'm gonna use finesse because it's an employ subtle misdirection, and if Juliet would that technically be an assist as well?
It would be an assist.
If that's, of course, you're okay with taking
It does
stress.
sound like it does sound like it caused Juliet some stress to do that, right?
Yeah, I'll assist.
Okay.
I'll take a stress for sure. That makes sense.
What would my position be?
It's such a great plan and so beautifully described that your position is controlled
Okay.
and your effect will be great.
Okay. Brilliant.
Oh,
gonna-
wait. Oh, no, shoot. I was looking at an old roll, getting excited prematurely.
Yeah.
Yep. Here we go, guys. Here we go. Oh, 5. Okay.
Okay.
Oops.
So many
Success.
dice, too.
Success with a consequence.
I have a...
You have a suggestion for the consequence?
Well, just a consequence. Well, I might just be to Juliet, which I feel like maybe if you want the consequence to be to Valkos, then I just think that she's crying so much that like at a certain point she'd like rip off her
Oh my god.
gas mask.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay. Yeah. Do you want the consequence? Do you want to take the consequence?
I just feel like, I'm caught up in the RP of it all. I think that would happen, and it seems like a pretty big consequence.
I said that this was controlled, right?
Oh, yeah.
So it means that, even the worst thing that could happen to you is you would have to kind of reposition yourself or something like that.
Okay. Then I'll strategically hold off, but
if,
I'm like...
but if you do that, I
joking
think
up.
you know what? I think this is going to be great. Actually, if you do that, right, and I can see probably that you're slipping, I'm just going to hold you tighter as we're going, and I think Ophelia can see this.
Oh yes.
There we go.
Enjoy it.
There's our consequence right there.
Oh my god.
But what I can tell you is that you ride the horse right between these guys that are already fighting one ghost, and they are suddenly swarmed with... Oh, that's 15 more ghosts.
15!
Yeah, and there's only 3 of them. So 3 on 1, big one was no problem, but they're out of nets. And you watch as even these great Severosi hunters are dragged down onto their knees and then onto their bellies, and these creatures are affecting them emotionally. Finally, their composure breaks, these hunters, and you hear them screaming in Severosi, "Please, please, will my ancestors watch over me? Why are you letting this happen, forefathers?" As these horrifying ghosts start dragging them toward the well. They're dragging them back toward the well. Do you stand there and watch them die, or do you do something?
No, we go out. We leave. I direct my horse towards. Could I take one of maybe the other stray horses and kind of try and maybe? Oh fuck no! But you're crying on my horse. Yeah. It's almost. I think. You know what? Fuck it. Actually, we're just gonna book it.
And Ophelia is gonna leap up
You're
on the
leaving
horse.
Ophelia? Wait, I'm gonna say as you
Ophelia's
like...
gonna leap up on the horse of the person whose eye they just gouged, and see if if Ophelia can keep pace with you.
You've roused up these emotions, and I'm like, you can't leave her. You don't leave her. And I'm like almost like hitting against your back.
I'm just riding.
And Ophelia feels drawn to you, Ophelia. The spirit of Ophelia inside Capragordi is pulled, and the galloping hooves of the horse just diddle-dum, 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 diddle-dum in the head. Just hear them sort of transform into the diddle-dum, 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 diddle-dum of the heartbeat emanating from that ring of your two hearts in sync. And every heartbeat is a stab in my back. But it's all right. It's all right. Wheels are in motion. In
enjoy this pleasant scene while you have time.
And that's where we will end for today. This has been Haunted City with the incredible players Josephine, McAdam, Salim, and Ross Bryant. I'm Jared Logan. Thank you. We'll see you next week when I think this is all going to finally kind of come to something of a conclusion, this whole situation. We love you all. Good night.
Bye.